got the first of our gardening jobs to do for the year. We've finally got some sunny weather. We've just been hit by storm after storm after storm. So we're going to be winter washing our fruit trees. There are a lot of products that you can actually use for this. We like this one from Gardening Naturally. It's a natural solution. You kind of want to be using something natural because it is your fruit trees after all. So it looks like I'm going to be auditioning for a scene from Ghostbusters with my new sprayer, which is this one. We're going to be putting the solution into here. This is a 16-litre container. We'll be making 10 litres of mixture. So I have got a top tip for you, because the one thing that we discovered last year is because this is an oil-based solution, when you mix it with cold water, the actual oil coagulates a little bit, and then the actual sprayer nozzle gets blocked. So you don't get even application when you're actually going and actually spraying the trees. So what we're going to do this year is use lukewarm water to mix with this, let it mix through nicely, and hopefully the oil will actually settle nicely in the solution. Here we go. Ghostbusters ready. These are all the Victoria plums. Last year they got really devastated by pests. So I'm going to take a lot of time on these just to make sure that we get as many of the actual branches and stems as possible, just to give them some good coverage.
So today's a big day. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago we had a really big storm come through and we had gale force winds, and it created quite a bit of damage for us. And one of the things that it did was it completely ripped down this trellis and the climber. The whole thing came down, and that was really sad because we've been growing it for 5 years. But when we actually went out that next day and we tried to lift it up, we realized that actually we don't think that the roots were snapped off. We actually think that they're still intact. So we left it for a couple of weeks just to see whether the plant was actually going to start to rebound or not. And it has, as you can see, it's got loads of greenery that's suddenly just sprouted out on it. But what we need to do is we need to get this trellis back onto the wall securely. When we came out the next morning, the winds were still really high, and our goal that day was just to get it back up against the wall so that the roots weren't putting pressure on it and, you know, hopefully weighing it down and then giving it more chance to snap. So we just needed to get it back on the wall. So we did a very rough and ready job in very strong winds on a ladder with only two of us trying to hold it. The goal is that this side will also grow up and they'll meet each other and we'll have a complete arch over the entire doorway. But at the moment, this plant, because it's going up, it's almost basically connected to the top trellis as well. So we had 2 trellises to kind of deal with. So it was really difficult.
So we went online and had a look at brackets and all other kinds of things that we could actually fix the trellises to the wall. A, they're expensive, and B, I don't think they were actually going to hold it in place. So Kirsten had an idea as to, let's get some timber. This is a 45 by 45 mil piece of wood. So basically, once we've taken the trellises down, this is going to form the back portion of the new trellis frame. We'll then put the trellis up against this, drill into it once it's up on the wall, and that should hold it in place really strongly. And we're going to start with the main one first. Well, it's been a monster session, and the good news is we didn't actually have to lower the whole thing. We figured out that we could actually work in situ and be able to just pull it away gently from the wall, use the actual drills to drill the holes. I found some amazing new screws today, which has been life-changing.
Yeah.
Masonry screws, because you don't have to put raw plugs into the walls. So basically, you have to put a small pilot in, and then the screw just drills directly into the masonry. And battery-operated drills are just the way to go. And the fact that you can just nip up, nip down, go wherever you want to.
Gotta say, this baton
Has
idea.
worked a treat.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to mount our trellises like this in future. But we're going to finish up because the temperature is dropping quickly.
It's getting cold.
The sun is literally just over the roof and it's going to go in the next 10 minutes and we're going to be completely in darkness. So we're going to finish the job really quickly and then we'll maybe show you the end result another day when it's a bit sunnier again.
Finally, a bit of blue sky.
Yay!
2024 has just been a bit of a horror story with regards to the weather, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been
Record
really...
amounts of rain for us.
Yeah.
It's just not stopped raining. Our field is bordering on impossible to actually work in.
Yeah.
So we're behind on our gardening tasks.
Very behind, because last winter we were out here, I remember in like the second or third week of January just doing tons of stuff.
We got loads done.
We got loads of done, and this year completely the opposite.
No-go.
I mean, here we are just so far behind. And I have to say, things are starting to finally bloom as well.
Yeah,
it's
finally.
So lovely to see. We've got some daffodils that are coming out down there at the other end of the field near the pond. We've got our American raspberry, I think it's called. It's a Riber, and I'm not entirely sure what the variety is, but that's got beautiful hot pink flowers coming out on it, like deep pink flowers. And this bed behind us, this bed for the last 2 years, I have been deliberately planting out with more and more hellebores, so that at this time of year we have a nice floral display. And we've got some really gorgeous, every time I get a hellebore, I just make sure it's completely different to anything I've already got, so that we really have a good wide variety of different types of hellebores. So it's time to get some stuff done. And one of the things that we've been meaning to do, which I have just been absolutely itching to do.
I wonder why.
For months, is actually build our trolley. I absolutely love a good trolley.
You do love a tipper cart trolley too.
I love a tipper cart trolley. Honestly, I geek out on them so quickly. Yeah, and I just find that they're very, very convenient in the garden, especially if you've got a medium to large size garden. They're really brilliant because they really do help you move stuff around. So if you want to, for example, plant a tree or plant a really big shrub and you want to actually take a lot of soil out of the ground and you want to move that, it's almost like a wheelbarrow scenario, but this is a lot more stable than a wheelbarrow and you can do a lot more with it. So you know, you can carry water, soil, you can put loads of plants in there. With a wheelbarrow, your base of the wheelbarrow is quite small because obviously the edges go up quite a lot, so your actual base area is quite small. But with a tipper cart, you've got quite a nice large flat base to work with, and I just find them really convenient.
Puncture-proof tires.
Very
I've got to
nice.
say, they're hardcore. I think they can get them on the car.
So every year, this beech tree here gives us all of these twigs. They all break off and just fall down onto the driveway every winter. And as opposed to having to come out every day and try and clear them all, I just actually kind of come out onto the driveway whenever I'm going to the car and I pick up all the twigs and then I just dump them here in a pile. And then in spring, I come over to the pile and I just start to break them all up, put them into my new tipper cart, and then wheel them into the garage and put them into our kindling bin. And we use them all as kindling, and it's a great use for them, gives us free kindling and cuts down on the garden waste.